How we doing, everybody? Welcome back. I'm here with my good friend Scott Kidd. This is episode number 28. And we were just kind of talking about how much we love books before we started this podcast. And we thought, why not talk about some of the books that have really made an impact to our life. And also we want to start something. So sometimes I loan these books out. I guess you'd say I'm a book collector. Scott, you were talking about how your kids are like, hey, your wife, what are you going to do with all these books? So, when I loan a book, I always ask, somebody sign the inside. And when you give it back to me, I'll give it back to somebody else. And then maybe one of these days I pick up my book that I've loaned out and there's 10, 15 names inside of it. And another cool thing is my mom also sometimes she's like, hey, I want to read that book you're reading. So I'll give it to her. And I'm like, hey, sign in there your name and the date you read it or the date or the year you finished it. Well, then I'll get to pick that up one of these days. Hope mom lives forever, but we all know that that's not going to probably happen. But I'll be able to pick it up one of these days and look back at a book and go, man, mom read that, 10 years ago. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, actually, I'm going to start doing that because when I go on the boat, I leave books there, and I should actually write in there, and I encourage people to read it. And then some of the other crew have left books for me and stuff, and I like having that, because downtime, it's so relaxing just to sit there and actually read and just kind of, especially something that you're excited about or a great story. Actually there was one of the places I went to in St. Martin. There was you could hike up to the top of this where this cell tower is, which is probably not good. I probably won't ever have any more kids or anything like that. Probably irradiated or whatever. It said caution everywhere. But
No.
jammed in the fence was this tube with a story in it, and it said please read, and I read it, and then it was about this. This dad and his son eventually got to a point in his life where he wasn't really excited about anything, and then his mom got sick, and then because he took care of her because that was his mission, was taking care of her, and she got better. But then after that he just said he wanted to live life to the fullest, and he climbed and did all these things, but eventually he got some type of illness and he passed away at 17. But the gist of the story was that the dad wanted his son's life to be remembered because he, anything he did, he just absolutely went for it. So the mantra of the story was take this story and share it, and take it and put it somewhere where somebody will find it and read it. And I thought that was really cool because it had written in there all the places that story had been.
Wow.
So that's kind of similar to what we're saying, when you pass the book on, see how many people have read it. And, you could probably find, if those are people, you could go back and discuss that with them. So what did you get out of it? And it's just kind of a really cool thing, to have shared knowledge.
Absolutely, man. I don't know how we can quite tie this together, but Ed Milet talks about in some of his motivational speeches, you've probably heard this before if you've heard Ed talk.
Mm-hmm.
He woke up straight out of bed one night and he's like, somebody help my dad. He's talking about there was a somebody that was also an alcoholic, or there was a somebody out there that talked to his dad that really got his dad to get back on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
So he may never, and I think he does know who that person is, but to think about the person or the book that got you to just boom, just change your mind. I've kind of arranged my pile of books here, and in a way that they're most impactful to me. I've got my most favorite on top. I've got a booklet here that I've read several times. I think is a really good book, and we'll just go through these. I'll go and let's go through the stack real quick, and then you finish it off. But the first one that I want to talk about is I love Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is probably my favorite author. Just man, so many. Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, many more that he's wrote is just super impactful. But this one right here is absolutely my favorite. This is Outwitting the Devil. It's kind of this is not my favorite version. The other one that's yellow, that's more his original manuscript, is my favorite. But he's kind of like interviewing, or in this third person, daydreaming about interviewing the devil and ways to remove the power from the grips of the dark matter, that infiltrates our life by drinking, smoking, all kinds of things. So that one
Yeah.
right there, amazing book. If you haven't read that one.
No, I haven't read that.
The other one, this one's by Florence Shin, The Game of Life and How to Play It. This is a really, really good book. It's not hard to read. It's bigger in text, and it really goes into some cool stuff. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I want somebody to go out and buy it and read it. The other one, I don't know if you've read this one yet, Scott, or not, but
Science of Getting Rich. Is that a Walker, right? I don't think I've read that one.
yeah, you got to go check this one out.
I'll check that one. Yeah.
I've read this once and listened to it twice.
Okay.
Like it's a good one, a really good one. This one here, love this dude.
Yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Be Useful. Daughter and her boyfriend got this for me for Christmas, and I read it right after that in 2025. Or no, 2024. Man, this is a good one. I really like this book.
Yeah, he's love him or hate him or what have you. A lot of people have certain things, but he did, he lived his life on his own terms, and he said, "Hey, I'm human. I made mistakes, but I just want everyone to know that you can go for it and do it," because he did. He always went like 100% at whatever he was doing, and he didn't make any excuses. He didn't make any. He had no regrets for what he did.
Not a bit, man. And he went for another one that I absolutely love. Love this human. Every time he speaks, he's got something. He's got a great motivational speech. Also, the motivational speech that broke the internet. Like, he broke the internet. Like, yo, check that out on YouTube. It was a speech, commencement speech, I'm pretty sure. It broke the internet. It was a good one. So go check that out on YouTube. I know me and you both, we like the motivational speeches.
Yeah.
This one here was probably another one that broke the internet with a speech. Amazing actor, Mr. Matthew McConaughey, Greenlights. I love this book. My kids know I love this book as well. I listened to it first, and then they got me the hard copy.
Nice.
Man, great book, man.
Yeah.
Just so good.
Matthew McConaughey. He just got a very great outlook on life. He's very almost when you hear him start talking, you start to relax.
That's it. That's really it, because some of his lessons that he talks about, it's as important as where you are and as important as where you are not. And he says it way better than I do, more fluently.
Yeah.
And just some of those quick, few words, man, he's really went through it in life, and he's learned from it. He's lived kind of like a monk. He talks about going out on some of these trips and completely taking off all the things that form identity, almost getting naked, all the rings, all the necklaces, everything that he can take off, and stripping it down to just being human and finding out where you are. That's really good. The other one of my favorite humans, I got to say this for a minute, Tony, I apologize if you're listening to this. Man, some of your books, man, they're heavy, they're thick, there's tons of reading. It takes a lot to finish one of these books. Look at the thickness of this thing. Mr. Tony Robbins.
Yes, that's a good one.
The Holy Grail of Investing.
Yeah,
great book.
If you're looking at investing or want to know about it, there's a lot of great stuff in that one for sure.
Man, talking about private equity, the things that you can get into, the things you can't, the things you got access to. There's things that you don't even know that you can invest in. He goes over those things.
Yeah, I read through it, and I had to read back through some of the things. I was like, because, my investing journey, I keep learning and learning. A lot of the things I learned were later in life that I wish that I really understood earlier in life. If you read that at a 18 or 20-year-old and understood it, I mean, you could take it and do a lot of impressive things. I flip back through it and go, like where he's talking about GP stakes and other stuff and software companies and stuff like that, where every person that has a chapter in that book where he interviews them, such a like very humbling, they have a very humbling story. There's no like big egos with any of that, but no, he's really great. I got to grab one book I know, and this is two of them that are kind of my favorites.
So
And then
I got two more here to finish. The Millionaire Booklet by our old buddy Grant Cardone. That thing's this thick, it'll fit right in your back pocket. Man, the lessons inside of here. I also have this downloaded as a listen on my Apple Books, audio books. And man, it's a good one. It's like 45 minutes, but it is some really, really good lessons with that.
You know that he was under contract to write a book with a publishing company. He couldn't write another topic or something. I forget how the actual story goes, but he made it a booklet, not a book. He's like, no, I'm not. I didn't void the contract because I made a booklet. I didn't make a book.
You gotta watch him. You gotta watch him.
That's a Grant Cardone right there.
That is. That's who that guy is. And then by yours truly,
oh man,
dude, this has been 5 years in the making. Just absolutely incredible journey. Started out as vision, passion, and purpose. Now it's how faith, purpose, and discipline create indestructible freedom. Coming out February 20th, man. It's going to be amazing. Nice. I've had people read it and they say, dude, this is a transformational book. But I want to back up on something. This holy grail of investing right here. Both of us are in investments. Yeah. And there's tons of lessons here. Talking about 2 or 3x higher multiples. And I'm going to say something I think you've already realized, but I realized it really this week. We talked about how many things that we would invest in. Like if we were to go back, like if we read this book, there's things that you were just talking about. Man, I would go back and invest in that. You're a creator of creating investment opportunities. And he talks about things in this book that is absolutely incredible investment vehicles. I got to say, we sent a distribution out to our investors that invested back in October 16th of 2025, end of the year, December 31st. We distributed $23,000 to those investors at about $1.2 million was the clip. I think about that right there. And I'm like, man, when you set out to create an investment company, create an investment company that you would be proud to be invested in. Like you're the investor. So what I'm saying is, if anybody out here is doing the same thing that Scott and I do, think about that. Create investment opportunities and assets that you're investing in that you would be proud of to get a return. Like if you were on the other side, you're going to be proud of getting that distribution because you invested.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice, because this family office event that I went to this week, a lot of it was about impact investing and impact charities and sustainable charities and stuff. Like it wasn't just about giving, because everybody loves giving, but it wasn't about like just giving, because sometimes charity dries up if they fall out of favor. But a lot of these were charities that set themselves up to where it was run like a business, to where it was sustainable. Like after a while, they didn't need to really take in any more money, and they were making money, and they were building and providing more. One was a homeless shelter where everyone started working there and they all started helping each other. They opened a donut shop, they opened merchandise, and like there was like one lady that was in the video that she was now like the events coordinator manager, and she was sitting down with the governor of Illinois, And she said, look, a couple of years ago, I was homeless, and imagine how
Hmm.
much pride she has, and she said, look, we created all this. And like, no one really leaves. They always bring in the next people and help. And I really, it goes along with your line of create something that you're going to be proud of, that you can bring other people in and lift people up with, and make it sustainable to where if you as the investor were investing in it, you would be proud to be a part of it. Because there was another one that was employee owned companies, and then because they would buy the company, or the owner would buy it with a note. And what they're doing is they're setting it up to where they'll buy the notes from the owner, and then it stays an employee owned company. And it's proven, like, Publix is an employee owned company, and it has kind of a weird stigma, like, maybe, people are saying, oh, it's communist or whatever, but it's just employee owned. Publix is a prime example. I've known people that were retired at 45 with millions of dollars, and they started as a cashier at Publix at 18. So I don't know of many companies that you can still actually do that.
That's the thing. I made a big post about, because the entire company that we invested in, they went and volunteered for Goodwill, Middle
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee Goodwill. They took all 20 of their employees and they went over there. And they sent me a picture of it. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, I want to set out to create impact. Like the companies that you're just talking about, like I want to be the founder of those companies. Like another book I haven't got to read yet is The Legacy Life by David Green. David Green's the founder of Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby gives away 50% of
Mm-hmm.
all of their profits
Wow.
for humanitarian efforts and good things. Like that's the kind of company I want to found. So if you're using investors' money to found some of these companies, think about the impact piece and
Mm-hmm.
lean into that hard. And I'll be honest, so a lot of the things that I've learned to implement in my business, they came from books like what we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about right here. And I
True.
want to get into your stack next because there was times like I had an urge to do these things, but I didn't know how. I didn't know somebody else had done it. And then I pick up the right book, or I read the right Bible verse, and boom, it clicks.
Yeah.
And at that point, you kind of have a guide. So if you're going to set out to either start a company, build a company, invest in a company, build an investment vehicle, think about how can I be proud as an investor? Like I want to be on that side of the investor getting that kind of an impact profit off of the fund or what you're
Yeah.
doing. Like this is incredible.
Well, and that's the thing is, you have to think about, what the effects are on the human capital. What's the overall effect, because it's sustainable if it's building people up. It will make money. It will probably make 10 times or 100 times the amount of money that you're actually putting in, if the people are happy and want to be there and are making a difference and they have purpose. And that's just
Absolutely.
proven, and that's what this event was all about. And it's now still, like, that I'm thinking back on it, it's still pretty overwhelming that there are this many people, and there were probably billions of dollars in the room. There were no big egos, and everybody's looking for a way to connect with each other. No one was there like some of the conferences, you and I have been, like, everyone wants to get something from someone else, and it can be very tiring and stuff sometimes. But this was like, hey, what can I do to help you with your business? There was one guy that was there in particular that he buys and sells companies, and he's worked with guys that have done 8 or 9 exits, and he has multiple of those guys. He only works with those guys, and he donates 90% of his money to do, like, archaeology projects and big music projects. And he said, I don't need, what am I going to do with the money? And I thought that was just one example of a room full of probably 100 people that were doing those things. And it just kind of drove me to, like, okay, because recently I got a call from a friend of a friend that he's starting this thing for veterans and first responders. he's going to buying a boat. I'm going to teach them how to sail and help them kind of refresh themselves and get back on their feet. And I said, well, okay, I'm in. I can help out with that. So I got a whole 25 years of whatever you need, and I would love that very much. So it kind of goes into what I was going to do. Probably one of my favorite books, The Go-Giver.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
And I've read it several times, and it always, like, when I get stuck and I'm not sure what to do, a lot of times I take a pause and I go, okay, what do I need to give? Because you get stuck in your own way, and you're like, woe is me or whatever. Like, okay, somebody else probably needs something a lot more than I do. Let me just think about that person.
That's so true, because I can't tell you how much I got it wrong in the beginning. I was just thinking about me, me, me. And the truth is, if you really want to go somewhere in life, you got to learn to discern those egotistic, prideful feelings. And you have to help other people. You have to be able to give up what you want to help someone else get what they want. And you'll get what you want 10x in return.
Yeah.
And it's an exponential trade. Like, it's not even explainable, but it's because you came in with humility and just completely just gave unapologetically, unconditional love of what you were doing. You gave every resource that you could possibly give, and it was a admirable trade back to you.
Yeah, and the thing is about the giving is it'll come back to you probably in a form you probably didn't even think of. And it's probably much bigger, and you got to be ready for it, because sometimes it comes back and it's very overwhelming,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's with that giving, you have to be able, and this is a hard lesson that I learned, that you have to be able to receive as well. Because if somebody thinks enough of you to give to you, just take it with grace. As I used to be like, oh, I don't need it. No, don't, you don't need to give me anything. It's fine. But that person thought enough of me to go out of their way to bring me something or do something for me. So you have to just take that with grace. And I learned that the hard way time and time again, because I probably made them, probably upset them, because they weren't allowed to. I didn't let them give to me. So please, everyone, if you're listening, give till it hurts. Give it to me. No.
Well, that's the thing, is there are some times that we do hurt other people's feelings
Yeah.
because we're like, no, man, seriously, I don't need it, and that's really kind of an expression of ego or pride, to not want to accept a gift
Yeah.
because that might make you feel less. But here's the thing. You don't know why that person was called to give you that.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been an audible voice like, hey, give Scott this book, give Scott this check.
Yeah.
Didn't even know why. But yet when you block that person's sitting there going, I don't know what to do with this now.
Yeah. It's like, well, I brought this for you and you didn't take it. So, and that, and I apologize to everyone. I did not complete the circle by doing that. And that kind of, I'm hoping that brings me to my next book, where it's the Go-Giver Leader, where hopefully that makes me a better leader by being graceful and being able to take what people are giving to me, because it's something that's very important. Like, if you're giving a lot, you're going to recognize what your team needs, what your family needs, what you're going to have that. It's a learned skill to have that high level of emotional intelligence. Like, if you see that offended somebody by not taking it, you really have to just, go back to them and with grace go, hey, sorry, man. I wasn't thinking straight, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And those are two of my favorites. And actually, I didn't go in any particular order or any, these are not necessarily my favorites. These are the first four that I grabbed, but I do recommend reading them. This is probably one of my favorite books that I've read recently. It was the Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard. A friend of mine, Julie Holly, that's a high level coach. she recommended that I read this, and goes through a lot of the things that we speak of, like there's 9 rules in here, like we shall reclaim our agenda, start everything with gratitude. you know it just has some great rules, and they're all very simple. Like for you, a lot of it is for you to get out of your way and don't be how to get rid of the fear and stuff, just by simply, if you really think about it, there's nothing for you to be afraid of. And I know you like this one, The Art of Negotiation.
That's right.
That's a good
That's
one.
right.
That's a good one. That one helped me out. This one was recommended by, I think it was the guy Rob Wilson on Family Office, The Influence by Robert Cialdini.
Mm-hmm.
It really goes into all the social science of social media and everything, and it really goes into how, like, when you're speaking to someone or speaking in front of a lot of people or social media and stuff, how you can trigger those certain emotions, because people don't most of the time they won't remember what you did for them, what you didn't do. They'll always remember how you made them feel. And that's one of the premises in there that you really need to think about is, if you made somebody feel good, they're probably going to buy from you, or they're going to probably help you. Or, if you lifted them up when they were down, they're never going to forget that, because everybody needs a boost sometime. We all do. We all go through the ups and downs. Anybody that tells you different, they're lying to themselves because
Absolutely.
no one has a good thing. And this one, I know you like this one too. The Never Split the Difference.
That's the exact book I was looking for. I was like, where is that book? I know I have it.
The stories in here are so good. I mean, he's a great storyteller. And like when he's talking about just the doubling down into knowing who you're negotiating with, that really gave me a lot of pause. That made me think and drill down every time, like I'm going to go into a conversation with someone, like with a potential partner, investor, or just anyone. Like when I'm working on the boat, like, okay, what is this person really looking for? What's their guidance and everything? The one where he was in Haiti, where the people wanted like 10,000, and then by the end of the week, had them down to a couple $100 because they wanted to go and party for the weekend.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like, huh, that's very insightful.
It is.
Because, like, okay, that's what these guys really want. They didn't want to kill any, they didn't want to hurt the people, because that's more work. That's, they're not going to get any money at all, but they wanted to be able to be ready for the weekend, which I thought was,
that's
so
great.
They treated it like a 9-to-5 job. By the weekend, they're checking out.
Yeah, of course. The other one I really like, I don't know what I've done with it, is The Last Lecture.
We've talked about this one before.
Yep, The Last Lecture. How do you want to be remembered? You were talking about that. What do you want that lecture to look like?
Yeah. What does that eulogy look like?
That's right, man.
What are people going to say? What do you want them to say about you? I know we did a whole episode on that.
We did.
Yeah. No, that was a good one, because that made me really think, because I had to do this similar exercise with my coach, Dr. Jamil, one time, because it made me really think about, like, okay, well, what do I want to be remembered by? What do I want, legacy or what have you? So no, that's a really great one. But yeah, I got a whole nother books now that I'm looking at, that, like, I need to reread some of these. I
was going to say, we just need to put our bookshelf on wheels. We could have just rolled it over here. Just rolled it over, because I know for me, man, there's so many books that I just continue to bring back up in life and listen to, and there's so many good lessons out there. And if you think about the billionaires that shape the world, almost every single one of them will tell you, what did they do? They didn't listen to the radio. They didn't watch TV. They read books most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They put themselves around really good people that had like-minded interests, and they read books by people that were successful. Another good book, and I need to order it, is How to Make a Few $1 Billion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or How to Make $1 Billion.
How to Make $1 Billion. I don't know that one. Who did that one?
Let me look. Let me look. I read that one last year, and it was towards the end. Yep, How to Make a Few $1 Billion by Brad Jacobs.
Brad Jacobs.
So, Scott, what does 2026 look like for books this year, man?
You know, I'm waiting for this book that I'm going to get from my good friend Eddie Austin, and I'm hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm going to send him back one that I'm hoping and that's what a lot of back and forth is going to look like, and then I'm going to bring more books to the boat and leave them on there, and hope that the other guys and actually have them bring books too, so we have a nice little library where people can always grab books out of and read instead of doing some other activities like watching TV or movies. I mean, granted, there's time for that too, but you know, that downtime, if you're sitting there reading a book, that really gets your body to kind of really relax and your mind to kind of just detox and everything else, you know.
So far in 2026, best 2 books I've read so far or listened to. Number 1, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That's a good one. Really good one. Die with Zero. What's that?
Is that Jay Shetty?
Nope. That is, of course it didn't want to work. That is Robin Sharma. Sharma. Die with Zero by Bill Perkins.
I've heard of that one.
Living Fearless. Exchanging the Lies of the World for the Liberating Truth of God by Jamie Winship.
Okay, Liberating Truth.
And the one I'm currently on is The Millionaire Mind.
Millionaire.
By Thomas J. Stanley.
And I just received, because at that conference there were a lot of people that wrote books. So I have a stack of books, so I'm probably going to read those. And a lot of them are all about their journey and stuff. And I love stories like that. There was a guy that ran a kids foster home in Chicago. Had 1,700 kids at a time. So it was a big deal.
Big deal.
He told some gut-wrenching stories.
Well, I bet. I bet.
There was not a dry eye in the house, including myself.
That's the best conference, man. Yeah. It is.
I had a big heart. I mean, and, you know, there was just so many to list with stuff like that. And then, you know, a lot of these people, there was the guy that was telling you before we got started, he wrote 62 books. You know, Dr. Benjamin Hardy was there, and he's wrote countless books. The guy that wrote 62 books, he's like, yeah, I wrote 62 books. And he kind of said it in passing. I wrote a couple of books. And he just kind of moved on. I'm like, what? 62 books? It's kind of what I do. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a list? Because you know, your stuff's pretty good.
You got a Word document with all that? Please
share. And he had this program for teaching kids to be entrepreneurs and stuff. It's a another sustainable program. They're in every major metro in the U.S. and they're looking to go into Canada and stuff. And there's one kid who started in the program at 9 years old. He's got a bunch of beehives. He's now making at 18. He's making $150,000 a year. And he's putting himself through school, and I think his brother as well. Pretty impressive.
Impressive, man. So we're going to start working on closing this up, guys. But, you know, for y'all, you listeners, we would love to see in the comments what books have made an impact on your life, and put that in the comments. Like, I would love to see, because I know there's thousands of books out there that's been wrote that could make an impact on people. They really could. And sometimes they just don't get discovered, but they have a meaningful title, but yet the inside of that is way bigger than the title, because it's that story you can't read a book by its cover, right? So I want to know, what books did you read that absolutely changed your life or left an impact, I'd love to hear that. Whether it's you wrote the book or you recommend writing that book.
Yeah,
Or
I would love
list.
to. I enjoy hearing what, inspires people and what books like really had an impact. Because a lot of times, if I read it, it'll have an impact on me too. Because there's something about that, and I'm definitely going to follow through. And any of the books, I'm going to write my name in the front, and then pass them on. And I look forward to seeing what you send, and I'll be sending you some stuff too, because
Yeah.
it'll be
Looking
fun.
forward to that.
We'll follow up with that, because I think, I enjoy reading. I know you do too. And I should probably do the audiobooks as well, because somebody told me that you get a lot more out of it if you listen to it while you're reading it. But I haven't tried that yet. But I still do my early morning 15 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes. And then before I go to bed, that's kind of my shutdown, you know, read and then go down. But I will be sending you this one, because this is my favorite one right now that my daughter got me for Christmas, Catching Whimsy. Bob Goff. It's got Bible verses on the top, and then his story and explanation about it kind of simplifies it for, because like we were talking about, some of the lessons and some religious texts can be pretty complex, and the meaning is hard to get out of it sometimes. I mean, some are easier than others for other people, and some have more impact than others. But as one lesson a day, and all of them have a little bit of an impact, some more than others. And it seems to me that, like this morning, I think, and a few days ago, like the exact one that I was reading, I was like, you know what? This is perfect timing on this one.
Yep.
It was like I
Yep.
needed to read this right now. And I was like, that was pretty cool.
Love it, man. Well, something pretty cool during the, author of my first book here actually created an author page. Well, on my author page, you can actually go on Amazon, Eddie Austin BEX, Amazon, Eddie Austin BEX author. And I actually have recommended reads down in there. So you can go and follow me as an author now. And when you go follow me as an author, you'll see the recommended reads at the bottom. So that's pretty neat.
Cool.
But guys, please, by all means, we see all the algorithm, and the algorithm really shows that you guys really do listen to this. Like the watch time's there, everything's there, the likes are there, the comments sometimes are there, but you're not subscribed. And we would just ask that you would subscribe to the channel, because it helps the channel grow. When the channel grows, it gets pushed out to more people. So we're asking you from the bottom of our heart that you actually smash that subscribe button, the little notification bell. And please, if this resonates with you, share it with somebody else. And you can find me at eddieaustinbex.com and all social media platforms under the same handle and same profile picture. And Scott, where can everybody find you?
It's pretty easy. Same stuff as yours. Invest with Scott Kidd, all the podcasts, all the social media. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Please reach out if you guys need anything. Always glad to help. Or if you want to share a book or share an experience, I'd love to hear how you're having an impact, or see what I can do to help you guys.
Let's go. We're just getting started, guys, and we hope you're doing the same.